Once, an obedient girl is tasked with kissing the most popular guy at a student party. But she's shy and rejects the offer, which confuses the handsome man, who didn't experience any refusals earlier. The boy doesn't intend to leave the situation behind, but everything doesn't go as planned.
And all of you knew.
Tessa is a quiet straight-A student who lives with a strict mother. The woman controls her daughter's every step and meets her childhood friend Noah, an ordinary guy like her. However, glorious changes will soon occur in the girl's life. She entered college and moved to a dorm. Her mother is not too happy with her daughter's neighbor, the active and bold Steph, but Tessa manages to convince the woman not to do anything about this. The girl likes the neighbor, the college, and the opportunity to become independent. On that basis, Tessa excitedly begins to settle in a new place. On the first day of school, Tessa finds a strange guy in her room. He was comfortably lying on the bed with a book and wasn't embarrassed by the situation. This is Hardin Scott, a local rebel and bully who visited Steph. The guy and Tessa barely have time to exchange a few words, but a new acquaintance attracts her attention with unusual behavior and an original remark about the book. Steph doesn't understand how you can live without parties and persuades the neighbor to go out to have fun with friends. Tessa feels insecure in the company of students, but she tries hard to fit in. She even takes a few sips of alcohol and agrees to play Truth or Dare. Too bad the game doesn't work out because two frank questions confuse Tessa, and she gets the task of kissing Hardin. He doesn't mind it at all, but the girl, upset by the failed evening, says that she no longer plays, turns her back, and leaves the room. The bully is surprised, and his friends begin to tease the boy, saying that for the first time in his life, a girl refused. Meanwhile, Tessa tries not to get upset and calls Noah. Unfortunately, he only makes it worse, resenting that she goes to parties, while Noah doesn't allow himself anything like that. Sad Tessa accidentally enters someone's room, where shelves with books attract her attention. The person who lives here loves to read, moreover, the girl's favorite authors. Suddenly, Hardin appears behind her. He explains that he is the room's owner and then tries to kiss Tessa. A strong and charismatic guy attracts a modest book girl, but she's not ready to throw herself into his arms, forgetting about Noah. Tessa stops Hardin and escapes out of his room. The following day, young people meet up for a literature class in the classroom. Tessa feels tense and even gets into a heated argument with Hardin about Pride and Prejudice, but their mutual interest in each other only grows stronger. The guys resemble the heroes of the classic novel they talk about because the key characters also didn't realize the true nature of their feelings. It seems fate pushes them together in different parts of the campus now and then. In addition, Hardin is friends with Tessa's neighbor Steph, and the girl's new friend Landon is his distant relative. Although Tessa distrusts Hardin, she agrees to the guy's offer to try to make friends and goes with him in a car out of town. Hardin brings his companion to a picturesque forest lake and removes his t-shirt and pants. He jumps into the water and invites the girl to join. After hesitation, Tessa decides to wear his t-shirt instead of a bathing suit and slips trustingly off the bridge into Scott's arms. Young people swim, talk and enjoy the peace that they feel alone with nature and each other. It's weird because the timid and soft Tessa doesn't look like the cheeky Hardin covered with tattoos. But the spark has already slipped, and the flame is ready to flare up. Tessa is still trying to resist the attraction that she feels for the guy and reminds Hardin that they are only friends. The rebel replies that they will never be friends. There is a first kiss happening. Getting out of the water, Hardin gently and carefully caresses the girl but stops, suddenly realizing that no one has touched Tessa before him. The guy doesn't want to rush things. The couple starts dating. Tessa is sure their relationship is serious and is about to tell Noah the truth, but Hardin stops her. The guy didn't think about a serious relationship, and he's not the type to start one. The offended girl leaves him at the bar and returns to her room, trying to cope with the pain in her heart. It turns out badly for her. Tessa continues to see Hardin even when going to bed. In night visions, the guy is affectionate, in love, and gives her a gentle look. In the morning, Tessa is surprised to see Noah, who suddenly comes to visit her. now the girl is no longer ready to tell her ex-boyfriend about what happened. Trying to keep a straight face, she invites him to a student party by the fire and behaves to him friendly. Alas, it is not possible to have a good time. One of the guests begins to pester Tessa, and Hardin, secretly watching her, beats the cheeky boy. When Noah is sleeping sweetly late at night, Tessa gets a call from Landon, convincing her to come to Hardin's house. After the party, the guy was upset because of the news of his father's new marriage. The name Tessa came up in the conversation. The rebel became furious and defeated the house. Landon is afraid he won't talk to anyone but the girl. Offended by Hardin's act, but still in love with him, Tessa jumps on the bike and rushes to the rescue. She sees the guy at the pool's edge, drunk, but already calm. After a long emotional conversation, they return to the room. Here, Scott confesses his feelings to Tessa, and the couple spends the night together. In the morning, Noah sees a confused Tessa and Hardin standing next to the student body and understands the truth. Tessa runs after him, trying to justify herself. She's hurt and loves Noah. The girl feels ashamed of her actions towards him, but the guy gets into the car and leaves. Tessa wanders around the dorm territory alone, hoping to sort herself out. She doesn't call her mother, and she doesn't answer Hardin's messages. In the evening, Noah comes to her doorstep. Tessa sits next to him and tells how hard it was for her mother when her father left them and how much Noah helped them in those days. The girl considers him her best friend, but Hardin Scott has become a much more significant person to her. To distract Tessa from worries, Hardin takes an unexpected step. They stay overnight in the locked school library and read their favorite books together, and when the guard notices the violators, the two run away, choking with laughter. The couple's relationship starts to evolve. They spend more and more time together, get to know each other better, and everything seems to be okay. Still, there is only one thing that spoils the relationship. For some reason, Tessa's friends don't approve of this connection, although they do not express their opinion directly. Another trouble is the mother's visit, who finds her daughter in Hardin's arms. The woman demands that her daughter immediately break up with her beloved and focus on her studies, but Tessa refuses for the first time in her life. She sympathizes with her mother because her relationship didn't work out, but she will not sacrifice her own because of her. The mother goes home angrily, leaving the disobedient daughter without financial assistance. Hardin saves the day. One of his father's friends left for Italy before the end of the year, leaving him the keys to water the flowers and watch out. Tessa and Hardin could live in her spacious house together without fear of being caught. The girl quickly agrees because she's attracted by the opportunity to settle down with her beloved. Relations continue to develop rapidly, and it seems that now a bright future awaits young lovers. Hardin Scott even introduces Tessa to his father and his new wife. They accept the girl well, although the atmosphere in their house is somewhat tense. Hardin tells his friend that his father used to drink a lot and somehow provoked a conflict with local bandits who took revenge on Hardin's mother. The guy cannot forgive his father. He is now ready to make a scene, but Tessa manages to put out Hardin's anger. The girl invites him to dance, the couple spins in each other's arms, the loved ones feel as if there is no one else in the whole world but them, and they passionately make love at night. One day, Tessa meets Molly in the bathroom, whom she hasn't seen since the campfire party. She behaves strangely, asks the girl about Noah and Hardin, and looks at her with a confused expression. Tessa doesn't understand what's going on, but she's worried. At home, she accidentally sees a message on Hardin's phone, where his friend Molly is interested in whether the guy told Tessa everything. The girl wants to get an explanation from her beloved, but he runs out of the house, finally asking her to trust him. She doesn't like what's going on. In the evening, Tessa unsuccessfully tries to get through to Hardin when she suddenly receives a message from someone else's number, which says that the guy's phone has died, and she urgently needs to arrive at a meeting at the bar. At the table, Tessa spots Steph, Molly, and a few mutual friends who invite her to join them. The girl confesses to her friends that she now lives with Hardin in the city, but their response looks strange. Girlfriends demand that the guy confess something to Tessa, and when he refuses, Molly takes out her phone and shows a video from the first party. In it, Scott, whom Tessa has just refused to kiss, bets his friends that he will seduce her, make her fall in love with him and leave her. the girl's world collapsed. In tears, she runs out of the bar, not knowing how to live on, because the love that Tessa truly believed in turned out to be an illusion. Hardin's words were a dirty lie. The guy runs after Tessa and convinces her that all this was before he genuinely fell in love with the girl. He swears the sincerity of his feeling but cannot change what's been said. However, Tessa no longer believes a single word of his. The betrayal breaks her heart. Broken-hearted, Tessa comes to her mother. She asks the woman for forgiveness because she was harsh. The mother also apologizes to her daughter for making a mistake in the past. There is peace. Relations with Noah are also being improved. Tessa realizes she can no longer love him as a man but wants to be the guy's friend. Noah also does not hold a grudge against the girl, which calms her broken heart a little. Determined to take her life into her own hands, Tessa writes an application for an internship at a publishing house where she wanted to work. Besides, she is transferred from a hated economy to an English language course. She is invited for an interview. Hardin Scott also suffers but keeps his feelings a secret from others, preferring to spend time in his room or on the roof. One day after class, the English teacher hands the girl a folder with Hardin's work and says it was written more for Tessa than as a literature assignment. The girl finds her photo, a picture of a forest lake where they became close, and a long letter. The guy writes that he read a lot about love but always considered it stupidity or someone else's invention. However, Tessa appeared, and everything is changed. The guy realized that their souls were made for each other. He claimed she appeared to bring him into the world. She is the one the guy loves more than anyone on earth, although Hardin declared that he loved only himself during the first meeting. The girl goes to the forest lake and waits on the walkways. Hardin appears and sits next to her. The couple doesn't say a word, but their looks say everything they need to know. Now they have a chance to let go of the past, everything that happened before, and then build a new happy life together after. Will young lovers have enough strength and wisdom to do so? The rest of the story will be revealed very soon. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out.